let's get into it. Guess where I went? The internet. She's like, you never touch grass, bitch. You went nowhere. I went to this place called the Gates of Hell in Hacienda Heights.
Lovely start, okay.
I know, right? This is what I'm gonna say. This is in Turnball Canyon in California. I'm gonna start with the bad, just to get that out of the way. There's homeless crackheads. There's people that shouldn't be living there. People would dump couches on the side of the road. And it went from being super accessible, where there was parking everywhere for it, to like community members complaining that people would park outside of their house. Again, homeless crazy people actually hiking to like these really, I guess, affluent areas, just being able to do because it wasn't blocked off and you could leave the cars there. There wasn't really regulations. And until they put up like a bunch of wood and stuff to stop people. And there's been like a lot more reform in that area. And basically growing up there, I just thought it was creepy. Like when you would walk, I wouldn't necessarily go alone. There's plenty of parts of the trail. You can start off the trail going one direction and end up completely on the other side. You can hike the trail and go around full circle and not even realize it. There's like 2 or 3 loops. They closed off more and more places. There was like side trails that you could take that were really narrow. I thought they were made to make the trail easier. You have like these really steep hills, right? Or steep mountains, basically. Like there's, at one point, you can literally crawl up to get to do the steepest part of the trail. And you have a hard time getting down. It's not for the weak.
You kind of fall.
Yeah, pretty much. You do. People slide down that bitch. That's how I've known it to be. It's just a really intense trail, and there used to be trails on the sides. You can like walk around, and like instead of like going directly up, you can like take a slightly less steeper route. And then people would get hurt because bicyclists would go down that trail, and you can still find videos of people going down the bicyclist paths basically. But since nobody wanted to put money into the city nor the Turnball, they never paved those ways, and they never like ensured like proper signage to say only for bikes or only for walkers, or like don't go this way, XYZ. Rangers can't get to you because literally like the outer parts of the canyon, like or the trail, it's a canyon and you're literally gonna slide down and not be able to get picked up. It's a long way down. That's all I'm gonna say. From the moment you start the trail, you bye. I've heard that there's like also crazy clans being there, you know, crazy rituals, like, and like it didn't help that people would go and like spray paint the shit out of the place and make it look like there was up to no good, you know. And then, I mean, people would ominously leave furniture places like it was living there, you know, like in the middle of the wilderness. You can see the construction of unfinished homes. You can see just sad ruins everywhere. There's a lot going on, and the trail's long. There used to be even tunnels that used to connect different places, but now they're like pretty much blocked by people's like stuff, like literal stuff. That's a little bit of back for you, just how we know about it. I have never heard of this place before. I've lived around for my entire life. Never heard of it. You're shocked. My grandparents were shocked. What is this place? You know, because haunted places nearby. I looked up haunted places in LA. This came up and I was like, since when? Yeah. And I was like, whoa. We're gonna start with, it's located on Descending Drive. The Gates of Hell are said to have once been an entrance to an old sanatorium, which has since been abandoned. This area is known for its foreboding atmosphere, and visitors have reported feeling unease and strange occurrences. Despite these stories, the site itself is mainly just a set of gates leading to what is now a relatively mundane and empty lot. It's crucial to note that this is private property. They have guard dogs now. They have a porta potty there. It's been doubled down with the fences, like the reinforcement of like to not get in or not to go in. And it's located with like a no trespassing sign. It used to be there. It's not there anymore from what we saw. It's just hard to get into. And I was just watching videos of people climbing it over like less than 2 years ago. Tales of satanic worship and cult activities and supernatural occurrences. The visitors to the area report unsettling experiences such as feeling watched, hearing unexplained noises, of bombs or steel hitting the hillside, and seeing strange figures. One of the most haunting true stories involves the murder of Gloria, rest in peace. That was a tragic murder. And just to like hint at like what type of place it is, because it is like, I can't emphasize this enough. This is a canyon. Like for people who like aren't used to like maneuvering terrain that isn't flat, like I don't think anything's gonna prepare you for what you're actually gonna witness. Basically, you're going all the ways in your car, and they basically shot this poor girl. Her Friends shot this poor girl in the head because they thought that she was going to rat them out for robbery. Shot her in the head, kicked her out of the car, closed the door, run through the fucking canyon because it's the perfect place to dump a body. And guess what? There was no cell service everywhere back in the day, right? You think it'd be perfect, except her fucking clothing gets caught in the car door and they drag her poor fucking body through the canyon. That pissed me off. Yeah, yeah. She was just hanging out with her friends, didn't know she wasn't gonna go home that night. There are claims that it used to be an orphanage or like a mental asylum, and there's no like verified like evidence of this at all. Yeah, this is where my research kind of gets crazy, okay? Because what I found was like, hey, whoa. I know about the canyon, but I would have heard about a fucking asylum because we had Fretzy Nels. Oh,
I was gonna say though, that has to be a big building to
right?
be an orphanage or an asylum,
right? Like that's
Either
what
way,
you would
'cause,
think. Like that's what your assumption is, correct?
yeah.
Like you're
You'd have to
talking
have
about a
enough-
huge.
You'd have to have enough storage and space for a bunch of people to stay there.
You would, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I've heard plenty of rumors, and like this is where like things get interesting because I just start deep diving, and you know, people ain't got nothing, you know, no proper claims of where they heard this stuff. One guy was like, hey, like what he heard was that, you know, like they found dead baby skeletons on the other side of the fence. That's why it's called the Gates of Hell, as a reference to another work. Yeah, and like supposedly they were unbaptized Catholic babies.
Okay, how can you confirm that?
Exactly. And that was like odd, right?
Yeah.
And then like I told mom about what I had found, and she's like, yeah, the satanic ones, like supposedly like this who made Satanism lived there. And I looked it up and I couldn't find a lick of evidence that he was ever in Hacienda Heights. And I was like, that's weird, because he did have like a building, but it's in San Francisco that his church couldn't even raise enough money to like buy back. They demolished it. And yeah, that's why I was like, that doesn't make sense. It's not, you know. Anyways, he's not here. That's like crossed off the list, right? And I was like, when you go, like when I finally like found like places that were showing like the insides of the place, like it's not what you expect at all. This is what's in there. This is an image from Google Maps. I want you to notice that's like dirt everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's like another trailway into here, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is from Google Earth, okay? Do you see like you see these kind of like crumpled up stones, right? You see like a weird thing here. The porta potty's right here,
Yeah.
right? And like there's like a bunch of stuff like here, but like, okay, when flew a drone in there back in 2020, this is what was there.
I mean, they had a bunch of stuff on maps all the time.
No, yeah, but look, like just imagine that was like a long video from longer ago, right? Like a longer time ago, right? This video of the drone is from 2020, posted it right away. This is the stones. There's a full-on staircase and this giant fireplace that looks like it's meant to be outside, right? And then there's like, you can't really tell, but there's actually more buildings here. This building goes this way. There's another building on the other side that's completely hidden by this bush. You see what I mean? Yeah. Do you see this? And then there's more. Now we have a full view of like what's going on, right? But this is the Google Maps view. The stairs are gone. Exactly. And this was from before.
But no, Google Maps hides a bunch of stuff all the time.
Yeah. Do you think they hid this whole... Actually, if you think, I wouldn't doubt it.
If it has like a terrible history, yeah, or secrets, especially if it was like an asylum.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about what else I found. I was trying to find anything about this, and I stumbled across like an old website where they have photo bucket pictures linked. And this web post has never been archived, and it was back in 2011 when they posted this. I'm just gonna cut through most of it, and I'm gonna start at where I took a picture. And it's because they talk about like Turnball Canyon itself and what's up there and like just the stuff that he was used to doing. Here's the thing. Again, we don't have any evidence of their age. We don't know who they are, but I'm gonna take it as a true account because it seems genuine, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right? Ah, yes, this is the house or compound that people claim was the site of an old asylum. No, it is in a state of despair, although Zillow says that the property was in 1995 for a bargain of $117,575. It does not look occupied. Telltale signs are the trees that are growing over the roof of the house. If you look very close to the left of the main house structure, you'll see a 1960s era umbrella chair just hanging out like it's in style. The pool appears to have been drained, yet a pool of rainwater sits stagnant. Interesting, isn't it? Attached to this property are the ruins of the Singing Kettle Tea Shop, long closed since the 70s. This used to be a cozy, secluded restaurant. Now it's just a monument, okay? And I was like, wait a second, because there was no photos at the time. Like, there's no photos, I can't find any. I went on Wayback Machine, nothing. I was like, wait, he's mentioning this? The Hells of Gate are separate. He's referencing to what he knew as to be an asylum from back in the day, right? And he's not mentioning it. I was like confused. I'm like, wait, is he just talking about the gates of hell? And it's like, want to know that creeps me out most? Ghost driveways. These driveways to nowhere are scattered all over Hacienda Heights sides of the canyon and are only good for two purposes: helping explorers access spooky untouched home plots and giving me the creeps, which we found multiple of them while we were driving up there, right? I'm like, oh, I guess he is talking about the gates of hell because there's one right next to it. And it says, okay, moving on and making a brief stop at one of my favorite old abandoned homes. Still no pictures, we can't find anything. And the house was only floorboarded and it would get freezing cold in the winter due to windows seals being in deplorable condition. Sadly, as I look at the pristine pool of the image, I am assured by logic that has moved in and taken care of the property. It was an amazing place to go skateboarding while it lasted. Here's the last bit thrown at you, and it's been definitely worth waiting for. Yep, it's the Hells of Gate. Still looking hellish after all the years, although in the 90s, people were free to roam the property as the FEMA death camp gate and video surveillance system were not up and running yet. What was in there, you may ask? See, he's continued throughout his list, and since we don't have the photos, we don't know what he's talking about, right? We don't know which one's which, but there was apparently abandoned homes up there, and those were separate. What I'm understanding is the asylum that people used to talk about is completely different from the gates of hell, right? Then I was like, wait a second, I'm confused. People say it must have been a compound, but then he was mentioning he's the compound, but that's a different property, right? That's what he's saying. That the compound was mistaken for an asylum, which was mistaken for an orphanage, is actually just a home that has been, not lived in, abandoned. That's what I'm going to show you. Now back to the gates of hell, a remnant of the 1898 Turnball Canyon fire, of course. He mentions a fire that led to these ruins. Is this image Hell's Gate? It's towards the bottom right, and Skyline Drive is to the top right. As you can imagine, all those people that rappelled down the steep cliff at the top of the descending drive totally missed this part of the property. In fact, not too many people can attest to being here. Although me and my friends have gone there several times in our teens, spoiler alert, no signs of evil doings or mystic powers are to be found there, at least not in 1996, but I strongly urge you to check this place out from afar, as the new owners have gone to great lengths to tell people that they'll basically shoot anyone who gets past the razor wire, then feed them to the dogs. In that light, here's the closest look that Google Maps will give you. And it was a photo bucket image that wasn't there. And he was talking about how he would actually play around here, right? This is the weird part. The time frame kind of gets foggy. It doesn't say when he used to go there as a kid. This is where the reference gets kind of weird, right? But it was edited early April 2013, right? I was like, okay, clearly there was two locations that have been mistaken for one, right? But I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense because this is right next to the gates of hell, the home that he's talking about. And he said this used to, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is the home that's abandoned. This is the 70s restaurant that was closed down, right? Because this looks abandoned and this looks hella abandoned, and there's just odd stuff everywhere, right? This is where I was like, wait a second, these are really close to each other. And I think people over time have lost just what has happened, right? And it was a huge ass facility, right? Maybe the lots were all connected before, but this descending drive has been there for quite time. At the point, it was separated regardless, and at the point, it was not. This property was not a part of this property, right? I was like, what if we move over this way? And what's weird is it looks like there is more of a trail this way as well. Now I'm confused because it's it does look like possibly this whole thing was once a lot, right? Then I was like what could possibly tie this all together? I was scrolling across that video that I'm taking screenshots of, and there's this comment, and her name is Lisa Berry, and she said, I lived in the Gates of Hell house in 1970 and 71. I was in 8th grade at Orange Grove School. The pool was a level higher than the house. You went up the stairs by the carport and down a path to the left. The pool had a diving board and a ceramic mermaid in the bottom of the pool. The house was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths with a huge rock fireplace and large beams with wrought iron hanging chandeliers in the main living room. Had big glass windows looking across the valley with a deck across the front, and the walls were made of logs. I was told it was a hunting cabin at one time. When I lived there, it was a beautiful property, nicely landscaped and birds of paradise, hydrangeas and hibiscus. The property was terraced with 3 levels. Top had pool, middle house, and lower driveway was a small corral. I had 2 horses and avocado trees. I did feel a presence at night in the old house, but never felt threatened. My father rented the house. I have no idea who owned it back then. Thanks for sharing. Sad to see it like this. And people are like, oh, like, thanks, right? And then like, how were your neighbors? Any of them seemed like they sacrificed children or performed rituals up there. And then she was like, I was an 8th grader. I didn't notice any bad energy, lol. I don't know. I felt creeped out when I would ride my horse down the trail from the top of Skyline to the bottom of the canyon. I didn't know the history of Turnball Canyon then. If I did, I would have freaked. As far as neighbors, I knew the family that lived above us and shared the pool. I don't remember their names, but they had 2 daughters close to my age. I was friends with a girl that lived down the road just around the corner from the lower gate on Descending Drive. Her name was Jill. Lisa Berry. I used to skate in that pool in the 90s until it was demolished in the early 2000s. When I was skating the pool, I saw writing from old skaters dated in the late 70s. Thanks. Cool to hear of anyone who lives there before the house was demolished. Always wondered what happened to that house and how it became known as Hell's Gates. Why is it kept preserved still? And why keeps dogs there during the day? I'm assuming next door owns or looks after the lot now. Like, and this is where the story kind of gets lost, because if you think about it, then there's people who like, maybe this is true, right? Most likely. But it says, I grew up in this neighborhood in the 70s where I say nothing goes on there aside from the people going to the gates of hell. I mean, nothing goes on there. I don't know when the myth began. I'm in my 50s and it's at least that old. That was literally 3 years ago, if I do the math. He's saying that that rumor has been around for as long as he's been alive, right? He's in his 50s. That would have put the year into 1971 when she supposedly left the house, right? Nobody has, like, I can't find a single record about if the house burned down 1971, but that means it clashes with her time frame, right? Because she said she lived in the house in 70 and 71. But other people are saying that the pool has already, like, it had spray paint and tagging from the 70s. Unless she moved out from the 71 instantly, it burned down, or like this like leaves a big kind of gap. Does that make sense? Or maybe because this was their 50s and it was like 1971, like that's when they were born, right? But he said 50s, right? I'm adding a few years onto that. Maybe it happened between the 75, 78, 79 era, and that's how this could have been possible. Like if we're trying to believe that people are just being people. But yeah, nobody really knows when the house was demolished or why. And there was a pool back there. There was a pool, it got demolished. And then if we're going off of Google, if Google Photos isn't like tripping, right? Like let's say they're not trying to hide anything, and that's like exactly what it looked like before 2020, then why would they demolish things to put back all of this stuff? Or like, you know, like specifically the stairs, because I feel like, but they left the rocks. I just feel like that's a lot of effort to like not hide everything. And then I feel like this is a lot of effort to rebuild and then just let it fucking waste away. And there's literal dogs in the day that patrol the area. What do you think about the people who own it? I know who owns it.
For real cheap, that means having there.
It's already ruins, right?
Well, no, yeah. But
and see, this is where it gets kind of weird, because she explained that the pool was a level above the homes. And she said they had a big fireplace, that her apartment had a big fireplace. That's what I'm assuming it has. If that's the case, right? This is level 1, right? Where the stones are, okay? Walk up. This is level 2, right? This is level 2 where the fireplace is, right? There's no level 3 where the pool could have been.
Well, she said, wait.
Do you see what I mean?
She said it was a level above hers.
Yeah.
And that she had upstairs neighbors.
Yeah, and that she had upstairs neighbors, and that she had this giant fireplace. If we're going off of like based off the stairs, this discrepancy right here, this is where that fireplace is sitting. Where was this pool that she was talking about? Do you see what I mean? Unless this is actual remnants, like still standing remnants of the apartments that were upstairs, but then who the fuck would rent a commune like thing? Like who would rent 4 random like rooms separate from each other?
It was one house.
Yeah, see, this doesn't make sense though. That's why I was like, oh, I would have loved to believe that. But now I'm like back to square one again because I was like, well, it almost is like just complete mystery. Dude, it's wild, right? Dude, I don't know what to do. We went and it was like creepy and like they're gonna see it, you're gonna see it. But we went through like the canyon at night and it's dark as fuck. And then we're finally getting close to it, like it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, like I don't really like, it's still shrouded in fucking mystery. I don't know who to fucking believe. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah.
I hope you guys had a great time discovering nothing with me.
We're getting more questions than answers.
Yeah, we're questioning the timeline as well at this point. Anyways, but yeah, deuces.
Go back. Here. Sorry, I didn't mean to like scare you. It's just I'm getting creeped out, you know?
I was gonna say, can you pull into that driveway? The one that's right there?
Which one?
The one that's over there.
I don't see a driveway over there. It's just all road. Oh, are you talking about here?
Yeah. Or like just like, or that's dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Sorry.
I think that's the same place though.
Oh, here. Maybe.
It's okay. I don't want to be stuck here when people are coming down this road.
Okay, yeah. You want to just take off then?
Yeah, but I just wanted like a good view of
Oh,
it.
here. Let me just go like this.
It's okay.